Hello, America. I'm Brian Hollyham, 14-year-old conservative commentator and editor-in-chief of the Truth Gazette. Look, I've done a lot of interviews over my 3-year career, but this might be my favorite one so far. Joining me now.
Let's see what happens. You never know.
We'll see. Joining me now here in the great state of Georgia, pretty cool setup we're in, is Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, author of the new bestseller Liberal Privilege and Triggered, both two great books if you want to go read them, and most of all, oldest son of President Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump Jr., thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to be here in Georgia. So,
Absolutely.
That was a pretty awesome experience.
I know, really
like
cool.
1,500 people in a room in Georgia in the middle of the day.
Joe Biden can't fit 15 people.
Well, this would be a Joe Biden rally.
This
two
would be a
people.
Joe Biden
That would be a large one. So that was a little different.
Massive pack to the rooms. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to talk about, but I just wanted to start off by discussing your father and his COVID diagnosis. You know, millions of people from across the world have been praying for your father and your family over these past few days, and it has been a little over a week since your dad tweeted that him and the First Lady both tested positive for the China virus. In all seriousness, how is your father doing? You know, have you spoken to him, and in your conversations with him, does he seem upbeat and just ready to get back on the campaign trail?
Well, yeah, I mean, even last week, a week ago Friday, when it was just the day before it announced at like midnight that he had it, I called him in the morning just to check on being a good son, and he's literally rushing me to get off the phone, just like, listen, I'm fine, stop worrying about me, I got work to do. So that's Donald Trump. You know, you elected a worker and a fighter, so he's been great throughout the whole process. He's been fighting during the whole process. That's what he does. And 42 years of knowing him, I've never seen him sick, I've never seen him miss a day of work, and that wasn't going to change because of COVID.
Absolutely. President Trump, like you said, recovered surprisingly fast and was out of the hospital in like 3 days. Doctors have cleared him, and now he's making a return to the campaign trail with his first rally in Florida tonight.
Yes.
Tell me about the heroic picture this is painting for Americans as your father returns to the campaign trail.
Well, I think it's important to recognize. I mean, I think Georgia's done a good job with that. Other states have not, in terms of regulating sort of the difference between just being reasonable and being responsible and being dictatorial. Shutting down your business, destroying livelihoods. The Democrats have done that very well. You've seen in the Democrat states, whether it's California or New York or Michigan, their transmission rates, the rates that they have were much higher than the conservative states, and they did it while destroying much more of their own economies. There is a happy medium. So when you think of Donald Trump, he's a 74-year-old guy that probably eats a little bit too much McDonald's. Not exactly, and he walks out of this thing in 3 days. I mean, I think that means. There's a lot of hope. We can get through this. We can be responsible. For those who are truly at risk, take those precautions. If you're not, get back to living your life and do it with a little bit extra responsibility.
The Trump campaign has launched Operation MAGA to get their message out to America over the next few weeks. We're 22 days from the election, leading up to the election. So you yourself have been crisscrossing the country, doing events all across the U.S. When you meet those everyday Americans and see the overwhelming grassroots support for President Trump, does that just show you how wrong the fake news polls must be?
I think so. It has to. I mean, that was the case in 16. And if I'm out there on the road and I'm all over middle America, I mean, the enthusiasm is 4 or 5x, like legitimate. And it was pretty big then too, but it's that much more. And I still think there's a silent majority. I think if you look at what's going on around the country where, cities are getting burned down, people are getting attacked for their conservative values, I think there's still a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm just going to go in a voting booth and make this happen. The real question is how much gamesmanship will be played once people cast their ballots by the Democrats and in the leftist states where, you can see they're already doing that. So we want to win with an overwhelming margin. We just got to get everyone out. Anyone don't be lazy, just get out and do it, especially Georgia right now.
Yes.
You got 21 days. Utilize these times before it gets crowded. Don't be sitting there on election day waiting, hoping to get your vote in. Get in there, bring your friends, do it now.
Amy Coney Barrett, your father's pick for the Supreme Court, today started her confirmation hearings. Tell me what you expect to see in the coming days with all of that, and do you believe that she will be confirmed to be on the bench by Election Day?
I believe she will. I believe that will happen. I think we have the votes, and it's just a question of how much damage the Democrats try to do in the meantime. We saw what they did to Brett Kavanaugh. That was all nonsense. No one was held accountable, but that's sort of the game that the Democrats play, and it's really unfortunate. So I'm looking forward to whatever they accuse her of, because it will be ridiculous like it was last time. But again, hopefully that shows the American people what the Democrats are really about.
Closing out here, you got some more events to do. I've got to ask you this. Look, I've been having this question for a long time. After we get your father reelected in November, are you planning to look into a possible run in 2024?
Well, there seem to be a lot of people pushing that. I guess after the RNC, it's Don Jr. versus Nikki Haley. I'm like, that's interesting. I've never even dipped my toe in the ring. My only focus has really been 2020. I see what my father has accomplished. I see, more importantly than what he's accomplished economically, jobs-wise, new startup business-wise, getting us out of endless wars. How about peace in the Middle East, minor details? I see all those things, but more importantly, I see what he's accomplished under unprecedented incoming fire. Unprecedented hatred and vitriol from the media and from the Democrats, and he still got it done. So, my focus is making sure he gets another 4 more years to drain the swamp, to have attrition out of government, get rid of some of these people that just really are not serving government well. They're not serving the American people well. They're serving themselves. We need another 4 more years, then we'll worry about it then, okay?
We'll look at it later.
Let's win big and we'll talk.
Absolutely, yes. Next time we talk to your father, just feel free to mention that I'd love to do some type of interview.
I'll talk to him.
That's my goal. That's what I want to try to do someday, be the youngest person to interview President Trump. So just feel free to mention it to him anytime. I'm always open.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Make sure to go by Liberal Privilege Triggered and follow me and Don Jr. on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll fight the social media censorship. Both of us have been censored on social media. You don't see any leftist accounts.
I get a lot.
Go check out thetruthgazette.com for more interviews. Thank you so much for doing this. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you, guys.